The Israeli soldiers are advancing on Gaza City as they engage in face-to-face combat with Hamas on the ground there.
Israel's military is expected to enter the city within the coming days. Israeli officials say they have essentially split the enclave into northern and southern half. They will press forward with the offensive and soon enter the territory's largest city. Meanwhile, the country's military says it hit more than 450 Hamas targets since Sunday, and that communications are returning to the enclave after a third set of blackouts. Evacuations of injured Palestinians and foreign nationals through the Rafah crossing have partially resumed after, you remember, they were stalled over the weekend.
So will things spread? Well, it all coincides with the second U.S. carrier strike group arriving in the Middle East. CBS News contributor Robert Berger joins us now from Jerusalem. Robert, thank you very much for being here. What more do we know about the IDF's push into Gaza City?
Well, it looks like it could happen any time now. They've surrounded Gaza City and cut the territory, this small territory of the Gaza Strip, in half. They've tried to get all the civilians out of there. About 1 million Palestinians of the 2 million population have been displaced and moved south. And that's in order to let the army go in and try and get at Hamas headquarters in Gaza City, you know, the big tunnel network there. And so the Israelis are poised to go in. We don't know exactly when, of course, but this is really a crucial part of the ground offensive, getting at those tunnels and the headquarters of Hamas.
So you said that the Israeli military tried to get people out of northern Gaza, but clearly there's still people there. How are they able to evacuate the northern half if now Gaza is split in a northern and southern part of the territory?
Well, they've opened up a corridor to allow civilians to move south. And so far, about 700 or 800,000 from northern Gaza have moved toward the south. But that still leaves about 300,000 civilians there in northern Gaza. There are various reasons why. Some people that moved south told their families that the situation there was so bad that they may as well stay home. There are unconfirmed reports that Hamas is preventing people from moving south because it wants to use them as human shields. In any event, there's still a large number of civilians there whose lives could be in danger. And it's been difficult also from a transportation point of view, you know, with very little fuel in Gaza for people to move from northern Gaza to the south. So those civilians are in a very difficult and dangerous situation.
Right.
With many weeks of messaging saying, please leave, though, one does wonder why people are still there. And speaking of getting out, if you can make it from north to south and all the way down to the Rafah crossing, that would be into Egypt. What's the situation there?
Well, the Rafah crossing reopened today, but you know, as far as aid coming in, it was less today. We don't exactly know why. About 25 trucks. For a while, about 100 trucks a day had been getting in, and there have been some Palestinians who are wounded that have been able to evacuate into Egypt. But Egypt also wants to prevent a mass exodus of Palestinians into its territory. So the Palestinians are really trapped in between Israel moving in from the north and the Egyptians not wanting to allow an exodus to the south. So they're sort of trapped over there, and there has been Israeli airstrikes as well on that area. And the situation, according to the UN, is approaching a humanitarian catastrophe.
Robert, let's talk about the U.S.'s presence over there. The U.S. has a second carrier strike group in the region. Does that have any impact on how things are playing out, on really just sending a message of deterrence or that message of don't that we heard from our president?
I think so. I mean, although I have to say today, you know, the situation on the northern border where Hezbollah is, that's an Iranian-backed militant group that has about 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel. There have been skirmishes today on the northern border. Right now, it's skirmishes, but they did fire about 30 rockets at Israel today, and Israel returning fire. There's always a danger of miscalculation. But I think the fact that you have that U.S. Aircraft carrier strike group poised off of the coast of Lebanon, it certainly is a deterrent to Hezbollah. But again, there's always the danger of miscalculation, or if let's say a Hezbollah strike kills Israelis and then they in turn carry out retaliation, there's always the danger of escalation. Right now, I'd say it's skirmishes that could escalate.
Yeah, we've got civilians in the line of fire potentially, and we also have 30 days today for more than 200 hostages. If they're in the tunnels, I haven't seen daylight in those 30 days. It's been quite a month. Robert Berger, thank you very much.
Thank you.